Welcome to VaderBox. I'm Bambi Francisco, and this week we're going to take a look at Cavallere. And joining me as my guest host once again is Richard Jalachandra. He's the CEO of Technorati, and with us is Ezra Roizen, who is our VaderBox regular and digital media investment banker. So, gentlemen, welcome to the show. So today we're going to take a look at Cavallere, which is a site for college students, men, boys. Let's take a look at the pitch.
Hi, I'm Chris Cameron, co-founder and VP of Marketing of Cavallere.com. Through a variety of entertainment mediums, Cavallere provides an all-encompassing community where its viewers can learn about and revel in everything man. There are sites that cater to certain aspects of college life, such as collegehumor.com and askmen.com, but no site embodies all aspects of the college lifestyle. The period between the ages of 18 and 25 is critical in the development of a young man's identity. Therefore, in creating Cavallere, we wanted to offer our readers an introduction into different lifestyles so that they may use this exposure to create their own distinct outlook on life. At the moment, Cavallere is a blog that helps our authors express their ideas about a variety of topics, but in no way are we intended to be the final say. Our goal is to advise and intrigue our readers with our opinions on how to save money, time, and a whole slew of other topics. We welcome feedback and hope that our views on issues move our readers to participate and post in our discussions. Soon, Cavallere will post a sister site which will couple individual videos with our articles. We realize that sometimes it is easier to see something done than to have it explained. We want to present our tutorials and advice in a manner that will enable our readers to take what they gather from our videos and immediately implement our tips and lessons into their daily lives. While our current attention is directed to our vlog, our plan has always been to expand to a co-op where, through funding from consumers and company sponsorships, we were able to test products relevant to our readers and offer a limited quantity of products for sale for deep discount on Cavallere.com, in the same sense Whoop does. Thank you for watching, and make sure to check us out at www.cavallere.com.
So I thought he did a very good job. He seems very earnest.
He seems like a nice pitch. I think he's able to get the point of the site across. He doesn't get into the details of the strategy, but I think you get a sense of what they're trying to accomplish.
Mm-hmm. But you'd sit down and maybe listen to what he has to say, possibly.
Sure.
So, okay, this vertical for college males, I think, or young males. What do you think about the idea?
It's certainly been done before. That said, if you do it better, there's always room within the category, but it has been done.
Well, it reminds me of sort of GQ for younger men.
Mm-hmm.
It meets Family Circle or some sort of family. It's definitely family-friendly type of content. So it's a different type of content.
It's tricky. I think first off, I think as Richard said, it's one of those things. If you do it great and you find a good vein, you can get an audience and you can build it. It's probably, as we all know, it takes a long time to build a media company's audience. You got to be in it for the long haul. I wouldn't raise a lot of money for this kind of business because all you're doing is creating an overhang that you don't want to deal with later. I also think editorially they have to figure out how to focus on areas where they can get some punch and not be spread out too thin, or they're just going to become another all-top for young men. They're going to become an aggregator or a dig or something.
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's a different business. So either you're going to create content, or you're going to aggregate business, or which kind of business you're going to be, or what kind of combination you're going to be. I think you got to figure all that out, and you probably figure that out as you go.
I think Ezra really hits on the right point. Don't raise a lot of money. This is the kind of thing where if you do it well, there's probably plenty of buyers for it, but the number of these sites that are targeting this demographic that actually hit it big is far and few between, because there's literally tens of thousands of them that all kind of have a little niche or specialty, and they're kind of trying to do a more broad-based appeal.
Broad. So did you take a look at the content? I mean, you're the audience, not me, so does it appeal to you?
I think we wish we were the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's good, and I think the trick becomes it's very broad.
Several years ago.
Yeah, at one point in my life, I was the audience, the pre-internet. I think that it's very broad. That was the first thing that hit me was broad. What I like about what they're doing is it has sort of some interactive things like ask the site and sort of question and answer and advice. But even ask stuff. I mean, the ultimate of that being sort of Dr. Drew for teens. Dr. Drew, if you listen to it, it's pretty dirty. I mean, the reality is the stuff that people call up about is usually to do with, you know, last Friday night, not last Tuesday afternoon. So I think the trick is how do you balance what appears to be, which is admirable, a pretty clean site. There wasn't a lot of skin stuff on there, and it was, you know, really trying to appeal to the better nature of young men. But what actually sells in many cases young men is not their better nature. So again, tougher challenge. Will appeal to advertisers, but no audience or small audience won't appeal to advertisers.
When you think about the most popular sites for the young male, break.com, which is a bunch of salacious videos and things. Fark is fun because it's got fart humor and other fun things. And when you get a little older, even something like Ask Men has a lot of visuals.
And you said you bought that when you were at IGN for $15 million.
Right. It was a site that we acquired while I was at IGN. And but it had a lot of really interesting things. It had maybe 14 categories when we acquired it, but the most popular were always around women, sex tips, dating advice, some sports lifestyle. Right?
Yeah, what can this company do to be acquired for 10 or 5 million even? And are you encouraging them or suggesting that they may have to be a little bit looser on
I think you create a niche.
Content?
I mean, I think like a great blog that has a nice audience is Sports by Brooks, and they do have a little bit of girls thing, but Sports by Brooks is a great got a niche, high quality content. People who read that site are, you know, sophisticated sports fans. So I think that there's a site that has a good audience, you know, and really produces a good quality content product. And so I think that if they can find a niche or a category that they can zero in on, then they can build an audience.
Have a niche and go deep.
Right. And a general comment, we're not saying that you have to go overboard on girls or anything like that, but remember that your core audience is in a hormonal stage, and they think about that kind of stuff, and they're really into sports and games and other things.
Or don't try and build a huge business. Understand that you're trying to build as a niche property, which is fine too. I mean, there's not everything has to be huge. The question becomes you're trying to raise capital, and you're trying, and then you put a bunch of things in place, which will give you the question: are you going to get a massive hockey stick in your audience? Then you got to walk that line. So I think it's. What's the strategy? If we're at me, don't raise a lot of money, build a great audience, find a few categories you can do really well in, and build a media property there.
But if you potentially want to get big, then you may have to compromise a little bit some of your.
Just look at almost every other site.
That's,
GQ.
That's the name of the
if
game.
you go to GQ, there's girls.
Look, I used to be a writer. Now I'm a curator. Things change when you're in business. So anyway, all good advice. Great advice for Cavallere. And thank you, Richard. And thank you, Ezra. And Richard, one more time, we're going to have you back as our VaderBox guest host.
Oh, last thing, I think the name Cavallere is a great name.
Okay.
Yep.
Good name.
Yeah,
okay.
It's a good name.
All right. So, and do they have the? Yeah, they do have the. They have the URL too. Okay. So that's worth something.
That's
possibly.
good.
You've been watching VaderBox. I'm Bambi Francisco. We'll see you next time on Vader News.